Hey, before I say anything else, pause whatever you're doing right now, because what I'm about to tell you might be the most uncomfortable thing you hear today. And I mean that. There was this guy named Marcus, 26 years old, smart, genuinely talented. The kind of dude who, when he walked into a room, people noticed, not because he was loud, but because there was something about him, something that felt like potential. Like he was right on the edge of something big. And he was. He just never got there. Marcus grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Middle child, decent grades. Mom worked doubles at a hospital. Dad coached Little League on weekends. Normal life. Nothing traumatic, nothing extreme. He wasn't dealt a bad hand. He just had this one thing. This one habit that started so small, so quietly, that he didn't even notice it happening. None of us do, really. That's the part that gets you. It started freshman year of college. He'd come home from class, sit on his bed, open his phone. Just for a second, he always told himself. And then suddenly it was 1 a.m., and he hadn't eaten dinner, hadn't started the paper due tomorrow, hadn't replied to his mom's texts from 3 hours ago. Doom scrolling. That's what it was. But not just casual scrolling. We're talking 4, 5, sometimes 6 hours a day just consumed. Reels, TikToks, Twitter threads that went nowhere, YouTube rabbit holes about topics he'd forget by morning. His brain constantly chasing the next hit of something. He didn't even know what, just the next thing, and the next, and the next. He told himself it was fine. Everyone does it, right? By sophomore year, the habit had roots. Deep ones. He stopped going to his 8 a.m. classes, not because he was lazy, he'd set 3 alarms, but because he'd be up till 3 a.m. scrolling, and then lie in bed watching videos while telling himself he'd get up in 5 more minutes. 5 minutes became an hour. The hour became missing class. Missing class became falling behind. Falling behind became anxiety. And anxiety? That just made him want to scroll more. It was a loop. A messed up, suffocating loop. His roommate Darius used to say, "Bro, put the phone down," and Marcus would laugh it off. I will, but he never did. Not really. He joined a music production club junior year. Low-key, one of the best decisions he'd ever made, because the people there were incredible, and Marcus had actual skill. He could hear things in music most people couldn't. He had taste. He had ideas, but he never showed up. Not consistently. He'd miss meetings because he lost track of time. He'd miss deadlines for the club's project because he kept saying he'd start tomorrow. He'd see the group chat blowing up on his phone and scroll right past it to open Instagram instead. One night, the club's president, this girl named Simone, texted him directly. "Hey Marcus, we need to know if you're in or out. We're submitting the project next week, and your track is supposed to be the intro." He saw the message. He opened it. He put his phone face down and told himself he'd reply after he watched one more video. He never replied that night. He replied 3 days later with, "Sorry, been going through it." Simone was kind about it, but the slot was filled. Someone else's track became the intro. That project got featured at a campus event, got shared around, got 3 of those kids' internship interviews. Marcus watched the whole thing from his dorm room, alone, scrolling. Graduation came and went. He moved back to Columbus, got a job at a marketing agency, entry level, but it was a start. His manager, this woman named Priya, told him in his first week, "You've got instincts, Marcus. I can tell. Don't waste them." He didn't know how to take a compliment like that, so he didn't. He came in on time, did okay work, nothing special. Because special required focus, and focus was something Marcus had slowly, quietly lost the ability to sustain. His brain had been rewired by years of 5-second clips and infinite feeds. Sitting with a task for 30 minutes felt like torture. He'd open a document, stare at it, feel this wave of restless discomfort, and reach for his phone, every single time. At home it got worse. He stopped cooking real meals, stopped calling his mom back the same day. His friends from college would invite him out, and he'd say yeah for sure, and then just not go. Not because he didn't want to, but because by the time Friday came around, he'd spend the whole evening in a scroll-induced haze, and suddenly it was midnight, and he was exhausted from doing absolutely nothing. His boy Jerome called him out one night. They were on the phone, and Jerome said, "Man, I don't even know you anymore. Like, when's the last time you actually showed up for something?" Marcus laughed. He made a joke. He changed the subject. But after he hung up, he sat in the dark for a long time, and something in his chest felt hollow. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. Priya called him into her office, closed the door, sat across from him with this look on her face. Not mean, not cold, just disappointed. The kind of disappointed that's somehow worse than angry. "I'm going to be honest with you," she said, "because I think you can handle it, and because I think you need to hear it. You're not performing. You're present in the building, but you're not here. And I've watched you choose to coast when I know you're capable of more." She slid a paper across the desk. "Performance improvement plan." Marcus nodded, said the right things, walked back to his desk, opened his laptop, and then opened his phone. That night, somewhere around 2 a.m., he was deep in a TikTok spiral. Someone doing a day-in-my-life video, living in a nice apartment, happy, creative, thriving. And Marcus looked up from his phone at his own ceiling. Cracked paint, a pile of laundry he hadn't touched in 2 weeks, empty takeout containers on the desk, and for the first time in years, he didn't look back at the phone. He just sat there, in the quiet, and the thought hit him so hard it almost felt physical. Ugh, this is my life. This is actually my life. And I've been watching everyone else's while mine just ran out. He didn't have some movie moment. He didn't suddenly transform overnight. Real life doesn't work like that, and you already know that. But he put the phone in the other room that night. Just for one night. Sat with the discomfort. Felt how weird and itchy it was to just be in silence. To not have something to look at. To sit with himself and his own thoughts without running from them. It was hard. Like, genuinely hard. But underneath the noise, he could hear something. A version of himself that was still there. Still had things to say. Still had music in him. Still had a life he actually wanted to live. The habit didn't ruin him, but it took years from him. Years of showing up halfway. Years of choosing the easy numbness over the hard, beautiful work of being present. And the thing about those years is, you don't get them back. Nobody's going to warn you when the scroll starts stealing from you. It doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like rest. It feels like you deserve it. It feels harmless. Until one day you look up and realize the life you kept putting off, it already happened without you.